Alright, it's another Friday night. So, you know what that means? It's Stories by the Campfire. And tonight's featured beer is a Sierra Nevada 3-weight. Really good. It's just a tangier version of the regular Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. But this is an IPA. Alright, tonight's topic is going to be about picking the right hiking partners. Which is, right up front, is impossible. But you try to make the best of it. So I have a story at the end of this, but let me just talk briefly about hiking partners. Just because you're really good friends with somebody or get along really well in the front country doesn't mean they're going to make good hiking partners. Sometimes those are the worst hiking partners. Not always. It helps if you like the person. Some of my best hiking partners are people I really don't care for in real life, but they're good in the backcountry. So depending on what kind of trip you're going on, is it going to be a through hike where you're going to be together for a long time? Is it just a weekend trip? Is it a longer distance where not everybody's going to be able to do it? Or is it just going to be like a party trip where it's a short trip and everybody's just going to go up there and have fun? Those are all different scenarios that require different hiking partners to see what you like. Sometimes I just go alone because I can usually get along with myself, but not always. But so yeah, I've done a lot of trips with different people, and usually everything works out fine. But I've had lots of trips where we're trying to ditch people, or you meet people out in the backcountry that just kind of latch on to you. But the people you leave home with is important. So one of my hiking buddies, I'm going to refer to him as Spandex Man to not shame him. He's short, he wears spandex, super competitive, super fit. He can out-hike me really easily, which doesn't mean anything to me. It's not a race. I'm out there for different things, which is, you'll find when you go with a group, some people are into the flora and fauna, some just want to go as fast as they can, some want to take side trips. You know, everybody has different goals, so you try to work all those things out. But Spandex Man is in a race, a competition to show that he's better than you and faster than you, which is fine. I let him run ahead. He goes out and gets the best camp spots and scares everybody else off. So one summer about 15 years ago, Spandex Man and his new wife, who I barely knew, she came on, I think it was one of her first backpacking trips, and another guy that claimed he was a very experienced backpacker and a very experienced fisherman. So this was our first trip with him along, and I'll refer to him as James Taylor, and that's actually his real name. He was James Taylor. I don't know where James is, but it's been a long time. But so yeah, the four of us went on just a weekend trip, not super far, but a good elevation gain of about 3,000 feet in a few miles. And so me and Spandex Man had been to this lake before, but the other two hadn't. So we start off from the trailhead, and immediately a mile in, I can see that James Taylor has seen fire and rain and not a trail ever, because he's in terrible shape and he's just going slow. So Spandex Man's been to the lake. I send them forward. There's a couple junctions. They know where they're going. So they go off, and I'm hiking with James Taylor, trying to be upbeat and encouraging. It's taking forever. And finally, we got to the last junction where it was only a mile to the lake. So, sorry, smoky fire tonight. It's wet out here in California. So yeah, a mile to go. I figured he can make it to the lake. So I say, okay, just go down this trail. The trail dead ends at the lake. You can't miss it. So he's going, I'm not sure I can make it. So I take his pack and carry that for him. And this thing weighs a ton. I mean, it's like a 50-pound pack this is a one-night trip. So I carry that and just say, we'll see you at camp. So I get about a half a mile up this trail, and I find Spandex Man's wife sitting on a log crying. And I'm going, what's wrong? And she goes, my husband's spandex man just ditched me, said I'm going too slow. And keep in mind that these are newlyweds. And this is one of my favorite hiking partners because we can cover long distances and I can get him to do anything. I said, you can't do that. And he'll go, yes, I can. So that's why I like having him as a hiking partner. But he leaves his newlywed wife crying on the side of the trail, telling her she's too slow. So I walk in with her and we find Spandex Man. He's got a good camp spot set up. And they yell at each other and figure that out. And then we wait and wait and wait. It starts getting dark. And James Taylor hasn't shown up. And we're getting a little worried that maybe we're going to have to go back down the trail and find him. Turns out he went to the other side of the lake and started hanging out with some other people. And he was so tired he didn't even realize it was us. He said he sat in camp and started chatting with them. And then he looked around and go, oh, these aren't even my hiking partners. So he's exhausted. So he finally comes wandering into our camp right around sunset. We're all cooking our dinners. And he starts going to his pack. I go, here's your pack. And he starts unpacking it. He pulls out a fishing vest, fishing shoes, like wader shoes, a huge tackle box. He brought out a bag that had 10 apples in it. And then a Tupperware comes out full of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. There's so much crap in here. I'm kind of upset because I carried all this crap for him. So he pulls out a tarp, throws it out down a sleeping bag, says, I'm going to take a nap, I'm going to set up my tent later. He passes out, and we never hear from him again that night, the rest of the night. I caught fish in the morning, I caught fish that evening. That's one of the reasons he came up here, was to fish. He passed out on his tarp, never woke up till noon the next day when we were packing up to leave. I think he got to make a couple casts, but never got to catch a fish. He was in such bad shape. Like I said, it was a one-night trip. So we pack up, and I tell Spandex, man, you got to stay. If you're going to stay married, you better stay with your wife. So we all hike together the first part, get to a couple junctions, and James Taylor, of course, is lagging again. We all are sharing his weight now. And we get to the last junction and say, okay, it's just to go down this trail. We'll be at the car. I got cold beers in the car. We'll meet you there. So, same thing happens. We get to the car. We finish all the beer. James Taylor never shows up. So we wait and wait. It's about when we're ready to start hiking back and find him. He comes stumbling in. He's got mud up to his neck. He's covered in mud and just soaking wet. And he goes, you didn't tell me there was a lake I had to cross. There was no lake. There was no water other than a stream. And you don't even cross the stream. The trail goes, it's super obvious. So, luckily he didn't drown or anything, but we had a good laugh. And James Taylor retired as a backpacker. But just a fair warning, make sure you know what your hiking partners are capable of, and maybe vet them on a day hike or a short backpacking trip first. But makes for good stories. So, thanks for watching.